Lindsey Graham. No, not that Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, the cat lady. Hi, I'm Steve Inman with Resist the Mainstream. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Well, it's a viral video that's been making waves, and it's time to take a quick look at the cat lady. First question that comes to mind, why is she dressed like a cat? Then you have to ask yourself, in this day and age with everybody identifying as this, that, and the other, are we really surprised? But unlike most of these people that identify as different genders, Lindsey Graham, the cat lady, makes an honest point about where we're headed and how the fine line has already been crossed.
And I am a cat. Meow, meow. I'm not a woman dressed as a cat. I am a cat. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe and confess that I'm a cat? Great. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe that your child or a child from this school would believe that I'm actually a cat? No one. You are right. Why? Because you are not stupid, and these children are not stupid. Truth prevails over imagination. Reality exists. Discernment is innate and something we are biologically wired to have. One look at me, and you know this to be true. I am a woman posing as a cat. You may also think correctly that if I truly believe I'm a cat, I have a mental disorder. If I suffer from a mental disorder, and if I am unable to discern reality, am I safe to be around children? Would you put me in charge of making critical decisions about the safety and well-being of children and about the direction of their education when I cannot even discern truth from fiction? Confession. I'm not actually a cat, guys, just because I say I am. You've not agreed to or committed to addressing me as a cat simply because I demand it. No tail, whiskers, or outfit makes me a cat, just like no lipstick, high heels, or long hair makes him a man, a woman. It is just as biologically impossible for me to become a cat as it is for a man to be a woman. And you have one job as members of this school board, and it's defined as this. School board members are responsible for broad, forward-thinking, minute analysis and decisive action in all areas that affect students and staff in their schools. I ask you, do you believe that the actions of a grown man playing dress-up as a woman affects the students and staff positively or negatively? A public school is not the place for social experiments in altered realities or gender ideologies. It is not the place to celebrate a grown man with a mental illness, dressing as a woman, and teaching kids lies. Children come to school to learn facts and truths about reality, including unchanging biological truths about science and nature, not to learn that they can change biological realities and become anything they want in the name of diversity. What you're actually doing is worse than just lying to our kids. You're forcing them to be participants in your lie, in your charade. You're forcing them to deny what they see with their eyes, and you're forcing them to speak lies. I ask you again, am I a cat? And if you say no, then the mindset must be aligned with your discernment across the board. By allowing a falsity to be displayed and paraded around the school, you teach children that truth is not existent, facts are not real, and biology is a lie. You fail at your job, your only job, by confusing children and teaching them untruths and to coddle a grown man playing dress up as a woman. If you were to address me as a cat right now, it's as ridiculous as when you say Miss Bixler and a grown man's voice comes thundering over the...
Thank you.
So, Lindsey, what was actually happening at this school district that made you have to dress up as a cat to prove your point?
Well, first of all, Jesse, I'd like you to not misspecies me. I'd like to be addressed as a cat for the entirety of this video, of course.
Of course.
So
I apologize.
This was in my... Thank you. Just inclusivity is all I ask, you know. This was a local school in my neighborhood where there was a member of the school board whose name is Paul Bixler. He is a man. He's very clearly a man. And the only thing he does to identify as a female is put lipstick on. He grew his hair out a little bit, and he wears his deceased wife's clothing to school, to sporting events, to fundraisers, to school events in front of the children. And believe it or not, he actually demands on being identified one of two ways, either Paul, which is a man's name, of course, or Miss Bixler. So it's very clear that he has a gender identity crisis. And not only does he appear in front of the children and insist that the children, you know, define him as a woman, but he sits on the board and he's making decisions for these children. And the point that I was trying to make as a cat was that, I mean, obviously, you can't just identify as whatever you want, and you can't demand that other people identify you as whatever you want. But someone with this kind of mental illness can enjoy that mental illness all they want in the comfort of their own home. But when you put them in charge of children, we're talking about a new type of indoctrination. And that's what's really terrifying, is seeing these people in charge of our kids' education.
Yeah, if he has to grieve over his dead wife, he can grieve privately, but wearing his deceased wife's dress and putting on lipstick and growing your hair out and insisting you're a woman in front of, what grade is this precisely?
This is elementary school. So these are young, vulnerable minds. And the teachers, the rest of the school board, are identifying him as mixed while he's talking in just the deepest manly voice that he was born with. And so to see these parents and these adults take no responsibility for the education of these kids and to teach them true right and wrong and true biology and true facts and science and truths is just so alarming that we have this in the school system.
Real quick, when you did this at this hearing, did people understand? How did they react?
This is a great story, actually. The next day at the gym, I saw one of the members of the school board, and he looked at me a little odd. I said, "I'm sure you don't want to remember who I am." And he said, "The cat." And I thought he would proceed to chew me out. And he said, "You know what? Thank you so much for getting up there and saying what you said. Thank you for being bold enough to speak truth. I've been fighting this agenda. I've been fighting this teacher and this school board member. There are people on our side, and all it takes is just a few of us to stand up and speak truth and find those partners in crime, if you will, and then we really can unite together and fight back against this and save our children."
What kind of exercises does a cat do at the gym?
Oh, you know, gosh, there's got to be something zingy I can say here. Lots of squats, litter box press, kitty nip presses, you know.
All right, meow, meow. Thank you very much, Lindsey
Meow, meow,
Graham.
indeed.
Look, whether you identify as a male, female, or a cat, or even olive oil, nobody has a problem with it. People do, however, have a problem with it when you want to bring those ideologies to our children. You want to identify as a dog? Go ahead. Leave the kids alone. You want to identify as oil? Leave the kids alone. And if somebody doesn't accept you as a dog or olive oil, well, that's life. And that's what being an adult is all about. Stop caring about what other people think about you, and the sooner you do this, you'll be happier in life. Again, I'm Steve Inman with Resist the Mainstream. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Until next time, take care, resist the mainstream, and we'll see you then.